Hello, Internet. I'm Angela. I'm a director and creator. We here at Nerdsmith would like to wish you a very happy Nerdsgiving. The time has come for our second annual Nerdsgiving charity event. 2 weeks of playing silly games with our friends while putting a little bit of good back into the world. This year, we are supporting Heifer International and their fight to end hunger while caring for the Earth. They gift families and communities income-producing animals and provide the training to turn those animals into sustainable businesses. For the next 2 weeks, that's November 1st through the 15th, we here at Nerdsmith will be running animal-themed RPG one-shots and giving away delightful prizes during the streams. Stay tuned on Twitter for the latest show schedule or donate today at fundraise.heifer.org/nerdsgiving. It's bound to be amusing. No, don't cluck up this opportunity. No, just play the outro.
We are Nerdsmith. Bum ba-dum.
No. We're gonna try that again. One more time. From the top. We are Nerdsmith.
Hello everybody, and welcome back to Dead Men Tell No Tales, a Ghost of Saltmarsh story. How is everybody? I hope you are all well. We have missed you since last Friday, and it is the last day of Nerdsgiving, which is very sad, but a portion of all of the bits and donations that are done tonight will go to help support Heifer International. If you would like to donate directly, please visit the link in chat because I don't have it up in front of me at the moment. So if one of my moderators could pop it up for me, thank you. Fundraise.heifer.org/nerdsgiving to make a direct donation and be entered to win some really amazing art. As a thank you, we are hoping to raise enough money to donate an entire arc to a economically disadvantaged community somewhere in the world. So let's see how everybody's been. We have a special guest today. We have Loki back playing Urzok Stormcrow, and I will let him introduce himself a little bit, and you guys can catch up with Loki here, and then we'll toss it on over to to Coral, because I looked at Crackers as I said Heather's name. Loki, take it away.
Hi. It's been a minute. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Loki Sooner. You can find me on the internet at places where I'm named Loki Sooner. I'm back playing Urzok Stormcrow, the half-orc druid. It's been a minute. I don't really remember what happened last time because I've been sleeping since then, so I'm going to let the rest of the cast catch me up, and then if I have anything to add, I will let you know.
It is important. Sleep is very good. Coral, what have you been up to? Where can folks find you aside from Saltmarsh?
Hi everyone, I'm Heather. I play Coral here on Ghosts of Saltmarsh, our Dead Men Tell No Tales show every Friday. You can also find me Tuesdays here at the Nerdsmith Twitch on Shenanigans, playing Val, the half-orc cleric. And you can also catch me every Wednesday on the Geek Thyself podcast, where me and Russell talk about a different, interesting, geeky topic every week.
Excellent. Autumn, where can folks find you?
Autumn Blaze. I play Gwilyn Hayes, and you can find me as Lasalanta Nariel here on Twitch and several other locations, and as Lasalanta Blaze on Twitter.
Excellent. And Zach.
Hi, I'm Zach. You can find me on Twitter at DuskFaeDruid. You can also find me on our Discord, running one-shots.
Perfect. And I will do a quick introduction for Crackers, who had to step away from his desk very quickly. He should be back shortly. But Crackers is played by the illustrious Matthew, and you can find Matthew on Twitter, which I believe is just at Matthew Siebert, if I am
I think it's Matthew
correct.
A. Siebert.
You are correct. And he will be back shortly, but he plays Crackers, our awakened parrot bard, and you can find him on the Land Above podcast, which just started its second season. And then you can find me here, and you can also find me on Shenanigans on Tuesday nights playing Bonnie Reed, the half-sea elf bard, who is totally not at all having a crisis internally this week. So we'll see how that goes on Tuesday night. Nope.
Your
not at
characters
all.
never have internal crises, Tess. What are you talking
Right?
about?
Nope, they're all happy balls of sunshine 24/7. Although I think Bonnie actually might come the closest to being a happy ball of sunshine 24/7.
I would agree.
But this is not Shenanigans. Although it would be a fun Shenanigan recap show, that is definitely not why we are here. So let's talk about what happened last time on Saltmarsh. While waiting for their ship, because they have crash landed on, well, they didn't crash land. Coral pulled everybody to safety from a sinking ship on a beach bulg island, where a kind of this community of beach furbolgs have created a wonderful working relationship with the island that they live on. They raise a lot of fun, interesting baby creatures and use them to work until the land in a very symbiotic relationship. Last time they were helping with the honey harvest with the dire bumblebees, and which are basically flying, very soft, fuzzy, softball-sized bumblebees. Not the honeybees with stingers and everything. The big black and yellow ones that really are just too fat to fly and are adorable. So, and then which they had to deal with the dire honeybulette, which just don't give a shit. And when being tasked to go pick up a baby kraken from the swamp, they got a little sidetracked while going through a tunnel's cave and finding a wall of sapphire and mithril. They broke through it and entered another plane of existence, which took them a little bit of time to figure out how to get out of. Among the people that they met there was Ratatosk, who was Ratatosk, sorry, my brain is not working today, who was very, very charming and tried to convince them that he had lost his nuts and they should absolutely help him find his nuts. For some reason, they didn't want to do that. I don't know why. I mean, how can you not trust a little tusked squirrel who has lost his nuts? You monsters. But eventually they did find their way out of regardless of the squirrel, and made their way over to the little kraken pools. And they came back with 2 baby krakens. But their little joint, the plains, had eaten up 2 days worth of time, even though for them, they weren't gone that long. They made their way back to the beach bulg compound, and they were told that they could probably keep one of the krakens, because since it is a swamp kraken, it will not grow to the size that a sea kraken would. It might be which Quillen is very disappointed by. And at some point, their ship should show up in the next day or 2. They did find out when they got back that the caves hadn't been explored very much because they were breeding grounds for purple worms, which wasn't told to the party.
Nope.
And so that's where we're gonna pick up. It is a fresh new day. Everyone has gotten a long rest. The sun is shining. It is beautiful, perfect weather. Not a cloud in the sky. A gentle sea breeze is blowing. And I'm going to start with Urzok. Urzok, you, since you have left with the party, have been doing your time in the forest, trying to stay out of Saltmarsh as much as possible. You did hear the rumors of the lizard folk encampment just to the north, and have been spending some more time up there, realizing that the folk up there are more connected to the land and tend to leave people alone as you really just want to be left alone. Things in Saltmarsh, well, you know the rumors. You've been hearing them sneaking out, and it's not fantastic. So you decided to go and see the lizard folk, and after hearing that your other compatriots had been there not long ago, you decided to seek them out. You hitched on a little dinghy, not necessarily a rowboat, more like a sloop, and set sail to try and find these fine folk. You weren't sure really where they were going, so you've kind of been just relying on sheer luck. Actually, I think at this point you probably were able to get into scrying, so you've probably been scrying on them to find out their location. And as you wake up this morning, you see a calm, peaceful island with a little bay, about maybe 30 minutes sail from where you're at currently. As the rest of you wake up, let's see here, Jaffer, you have a fat little dragon who's sleeping on top of you. Suds has decided that you are the person that he wanted to sleep on top of last night for warmth, and you all awaken to some hubbub outside. It sounds like some folks are very excited about what is going on.
Jaffer will slide Suds like up onto her shoulder as she slides out of bed. What's all the hubbub?
I don't know, but they're very loud.
Hi.
Some of us are trying to sleep off a plane hopping hangover.
My favorite kind. Jaffer goes over to the window and looks outside.
You can see Johnny Seven Toes and a bunch of the other furbolgs kind of pointing out towards the water. Looks like they are very excited about a potential ship. It's hard to see from inside, but you get the idea of boat and visitors, and a little bit of rumbling of concern from some of the other beach bolgs, because this is not the ship they were expecting, it sounds like.
Jaffer will express that and then begin to suit up, putting her armor on and all that stuff.
Right? Oh, hells.
All right.
Let's go then.
So in the time that it takes you guys to armor up and head on out, Urzok, you are able to make out folks on shore at this point. You can see what looks like a group of probably 15 or 16 very tall individuals, varying shades of blue and green, kind of fuzzy, maybe? Hard to tell from this distance. But you're pretty sure that it's a bunch of furbolgs on the beach.
I'm sure they're perfectly nice. I should probably go introduce myself.
Yep. So if you about a little bit of time passes and you are able to pull your sloop kind of into the little bay, anchor it, and it's shallow enough that it's easy to, you've got a nice shallow bottom sloop, so you can actually kind of pull it up onto the beach. And when you arrive, they are actually all very eager to help you. Though they are all very, very tall, and it's a little imposing to have, 15 people around you all at once who tower over you. Especially you being used to being one of the taller folk, having, people who are pushing 7-8 feet just crowding around you is a little unnerving.
Now, who will I dunk on?
Well, it's okay. Jaffer's about to come out in a second.
Oh, well, I'm not dunk on, not dunk with.
Oh, okay. love you, Zach. I'm sorry.
She's so small.
Considering that Zach and I are like the polar opposites of height in real life, I think it's fine.
It is also my life in 24/7. I am very short.
Yeah, 5'1".
I am an inch taller than Heather, and that inch is very important. We are very short.
And angry.
Jeffrey has a big personality.
Very true.
Which is probably why Urzok hears her coming.
Yep. It's pretty easy to tell that your friends are here within seconds because they are all
You cut out, Tess.
you can hear Jaffer exclaiming as she walks down the beach about what is going on. Hello, Chiffon, and hello, friends. And you guys see Urzok there. Crackers is still in bed. He should be getting up soon.
Jeff
Don't
left him a
want to wake
note.
up on the wrong side of the nest.
Urzok, what are you doing here?
Hi.
I heard you in their neighborhood, and where's Fortune? I have the most delightful concoction. You can actually hear the color purple when you smoke it.
Fortune has gone to bed with quite the hangover and may or may not be waking up this episode.
It's
We'll see.
unfortunate.
I'm sure he would enjoy that upon his return if you want to leave him some.
I'll leave it
I'll
in
make a
Jaffer's
note.
care. I have no reason to think that Jaffer won't share.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
I'm sure that can't go badly at all.
Oh,
I heard
not at
you.
all.
I heard you were in the neighborhood. I had to come by and say hello.
Well, we're glad you could join us.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
It's quite a trek to be in the neighborhood.
This whole area is my neighborhood. I'm a druid of the coast. What do you expect?
That's true.
And it's more importantly, it keeps me out of the city. Because fuck that place.
Differing opinions.
That's fair, though.
That's true. I'll stick with the Saltmarsh being the biggest city I need to go to.
Aye.
Anyway, I've been partying with the lizard folk. Fabulous people. They know how to have a good time, but they mentioned that you were nearby. I thought I would come and check on you and see how you were doing.
Yeah, we helped them with a problem. What was his name? They called him Thousand Tooth.
Aye. Huge. Huge he was.
Yes, we've all told that story before.
Oh no, no,
Aye.
she's being serious though. He was big enough that I jumped on his back.
It's very impressive.
He would have swallowed you in one bite.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me.
I was
Urzok
very
would be his
close.
leg.
In that case, I'm glad to see you in one piece, little sister.
Thank you. It's good to see you too.
If you'd like, you could make a nature check to see if you have heard tales of Thousand Tooth if you'd like. You do not have to.
At the risk of being called out on my bullshit, I rolled a natural 20 on my first roll.
Oh yeah, you know that was a
We've crossed paths before.
yeah, and your path was very severely get the fuck out was when you saw him because he was very very big. So and quite a menace. He had gotten large enough that he was starting to unbalance the ecosystem in the swamp where he was.
Several spirits have told me of your exploits. They're not unhappy to see his path come to an end.
That's good. Well, I can't imagine why anyone wouldn't be happy about it, honestly.
We all have our place in the cycle of things.
That's true, but when you get big enough that you're starting to eat the lizard folk, it's a problem.
So we're glad to have you. I mean, it's great. Do we have anything we have to do today? I don't remember anything that they asked us to do.
I got my baby cracking, honestly. That was my goal. Everything after that's
Oh.
just a bonus.
I'm sorry. I thought I had
Urzok.
something crazy in my ear, and you said Baby Kraken.
Do you want to
serious.
see it?
It's adorable.
It's the cutest thing ever. It's absolutely the cutest thing ever. It's not going to get as big as I'd like, but it's adorable.
It's a little
Urzok is just
It's like a freshwater version. They're a little smaller, but they're adorable.
all right.
Also, depending on what languages you speak, it might try to talk to you inside your head. Just a fair warning, because that's already happened once. They keep talking to Fortune.
It wouldn't be the first time I've heard voices in my head.
Fair enough.
Apparently they speak Infernal. And a little bit of Aquan, but not enough to actually talk to me and Gwilyn very well.
I understand enough. We have a bond.
Alright, so you guys lead Urzok over to the little freshwater pond that is in the compound. And Urzok, as you get into the compound proper, you can see how well these folks have created this little idyllic kind of paradise here. Everything blends in seamlessly with the natural ecosystem. It looks like they are meticulous about how they cultivate their crops. Everything is used fully. There is no waste. It's
Back in,
just
back out.
perfect.
Have I-
Perfect balance.
Have I ever run across these people before, or is this just...
You have not. These folks. This island has been uncharted. It took a bit of doing to find the party here, but yeah, whoever these folks are, they really have got their ecological footprint to the smallest possible size.
More power to them. I will make sure to give extremely kind words to whoever the authority figure, if there is one, and if not, then just to whoever the elders are in the community, and just thank them for allowing me to share their space.
From what the party know, the closest thing they have to an actual authority figure is Shimrus, who seems to be kind of, not necessarily a council elder, but just kind of council or anything like that, just seems to be the most outgoing, outspoken person.
Also blessed hair.
The
Best
face,
shiny-
gotcha.
yeah.
His hair literally glitters.
Yep.
There are giant dire bees that are housed for honey. There are wolpertingers that are out there being used for fur, not for like raising them and then killing them for their fur, but actually like brushing them to make fur, like Angora rabbits, where you brush them to get fibers for yarn. Yes, they are dire bees. They are softball-sized fuzzy bumblebees. So
Yes.
they are basically just like fuzzy, like a soot sprite from Spirited Away, basically.
Yeah.
But a bumblebee.
They're soot sprites with wings.
Yep. And very friendly. And they make a very delicious honey. You can also see a dragon turtle baby not too far away. It's just kind of chilling and chomping on some greens.
Morning, shiny baby.
There's
How
a
are they
little-
feeding you?
Good. It's good. It's good.
Ugh, you know, they're very, very hospitable people, but they're gonna kill us with cuteness.
Aye. We're trying to
So,
take
I mean-
some of it with us, though. But, slowly.
The boat that Urzok came over on, how big is it?
It is fairly small. It is a 1 to 2 person craft. It's not designed for a ton of people. You could maybe put one other person on it.
If we build a raft and tie it to your boat, maybe we can get off this blasted island.
All
What are you
business again.
complaining about? They're perfectly nice. And besides, our ship's on its way. It's just gonna be a day or two.
Yeah, but there's no commerce here, and I'm bored.
could always go ask if there's something we can attack again. Then we won't be bored.
That's true.
True.
That's pretty much what we've been doing the last couple of days, Urzak, is just having them send us out on missions they need done. They're not very combative, so when it comes to stuff like that, we've been helping them a bit.
Aye, we managed
I
not
will-
to die.
I will happily also offer my services. I don't have a sword, but well, actually, wait, I might have a scimitar somewhere. I might have left it on the boat.
It's at this point when Shimrus comes over to you all and goes, "Good morning, everyone. How's everyone settling in? I don't believe we've been introduced. I'm Shimrus," and he holds out a giant Furbolg hand to you, Urzak. He's just big
Yeah,
smile
I'll
on his face, very, very pleasant.
Shake it
man.
heartily, like not trying to impress anybody, not trying to prove anything.
He get the same kind of vibe back from him. It's just this is who he is. He's very comfortable with that. It's good to see new faces. We don't get visitors very often, so welcome. Fortunate you were able to find your friends here.
The spirits helped me locate them, and thank you. I don't often hear people complimenting my face in these parts.
Well, that's a shame. So, well, what brings you out to our island?
Trying to catch up with my friends and seeing if they were aware of some of the tensions back in the human city.
Ugh,
I mean-
what have they done now?
There's always something there.
Everyone is at each other's throats, I'm afraid. I don't have any reason to believe that it's going to boil over soon, but I thought since those are the circles you run in, you best be warned before you head back that direction.
Appreciate the warning.
Agreed. I swear, it's like you're a babysitter and you leave the room for 5 minutes and suddenly the kids are throwing things at each other.
Aye. Although in my sister's case, it was usually rather worse than throwing things. She had a tendency to dive overboard.
Of course, now that I've found this wonderful locale, I must admit I'm loath to even go back to the mainland, were it not for my responsibilities, of course.
It's not uncommon that. Well, I mean, most of us decided the same thing when we came here. That why go back? Crackers wakes up suddenly from a terrible dream, and he realizes that Suds has curled up next to him in his nest because Jaffer had left, and Crackers was the only warm body left, except for Suds is also the size of Crackers, so it's a little bit awkward as the nest for one has suddenly become a nest for two, and he is ready to get up and out of this room. Clearly something has gone on outside.
Good morning, Crackers. We found Urzak, or Urzak found us by the spirits, and then she makes like a thing.
Oh, goody.
I
Yes,
should mention
I thought you
before
might be
you say
excited
much.
to see me.
Shimrus is right there, Crackers. So I know that you've been keeping up your facade of not speaking. So I meant to say that before you said anything, but it is okay. I will pretend that he did not hear that. since I had not-
It's quite all right.
Oh, woo, okay. So Shimrus looks up and kind of gives you an eyebrow raise.
Yes, hello. I can talk.
What, you didn't
What
know the
is
bird could
this?
talk? It's more getting him not to talk that's the impressive feat.
We had no idea.
I'm absolutely gobsmacked.
I see. Well, that's new. Okay then.
Is there a
Maybe
reason
so.
this thing is in my nest.
You made a friend!
What, you don't like playing
I
bird
knew you were
spoon, little
capable.
spoon?
That's a good one.
I'll get him. And Sheamus goes over and scoops up Suds with one hand and just walks out with him.
He's a cute dragon.
You can hear him, Suds getting a bit of a dressing down from Shimmerist outside about boundaries and being nice to people and how we don't steal beds because they're warm.
He's all right, but he definitely makes the bed a lot warmer when he crawls on top of you. And he snores something awful.
He does snore.
I
Urzok,
didn't notice.
Suds is a little ale house drake, so he just looks like the color of beer and kind of smells a bit like ale and mead as well.
This is the best smelling dragon I've ever encountered.
Right?
You encountered many.
A few here and there.
Impressive.
That I'd like to hear about sometime.
I'm afraid they don't all come in travel size, Gwilyn, so I don't know how interested you to be in them.
Well, if they're willing to give me a ride instead, I can work with that. I mean, I was fine with the Kraken being larger. I had plans. Still alright. I still love the little thing. It's adorable.
Well, they did say he'd get bigger depending on the size of the enclosure we put him in.
There's still hope. Jaffer and I will work on it.
There you go.
The problem's gonna be the salt water. Seeing as he came from a freshwater pond.
That could be an issue. Maybe I'll have Fortune talk to him. Or, when the ship gets here, I could have the raid talk to him. I think he could speak with him as well. I'll have to check.
Perhaps I could create some sort of watery, desalinated sphere.
I like that idea.
Cool.
I have no idea how you do that, as I haven't read anything about that one yet, but I like the sound.
With magic, actually.
Well, I guess that. I
Speaking
do
of
know
magic,
some.
Urzok, just so you know, Jeffrey pulls out a little pouch. Here, you can have this. This is shared between the entire group, and whatever you put in here, we can all access. So if you want to pass messages to us, you know, or if you
Yes.
want, there's
Of
some
course.
potions in there right now, so like just tuck it between them.
Yeah, we've got 2 potions in there.
Yeah, it's not big enough to hold an entire pack or anything like that, but it's big enough for something useful that you might need quickly.
Yeah, or notes.
Or notes.
Urzok puts the pouch away and promises that he will make only appropriate use of it.
Or not.
Did you need to know right now? I'm standing right here. We can speak without me having to write anything for you.
No.
She's very
Actually-
excited. She worked very hard on them.
Yeah, they're very useful.
Ah. Well,
I'm sure
and
it
he
was
kind of-
difficult with her skill.
He kind of pats himself down and he finds maybe a part of an herb pouch, medicinal, literally medicinal. Not well. I don't need to explain that to you. You're a person of learning, and he puts the pouch inside the other pouch.
Oh, good.
Pouches all the way down.
It's not a magical pouch. That's good. You really scared me. That would have been so interesting.
Magic pouch inside a magic pouch. I wonder what would happen. I
It
will
would-
do it. I will.
It would explode.
I've always
And then
heard
we
it was a
won't-
bad idea.
Yeah, that specifically I know. I've been taught that much. It would be a good way to get off this island, though.
I
Might
don't know if that'd be a
explode.
good way to get off the island, considering we've got a ship coming in a day or two.
That's what they say.
I mean, if you're in that much of a hurry, I know I brought a boat here, but I can turn into a shark or something and tow you out if you're really that eager to get off the island.
No.
As you wish.
Because I'll still get. Well, I don't mind getting wet, but no, it's fine. I'm grumpy. I haven't had breakfast yet.
She's also frustrated because she'd like to get going, but we're stuck here until the ship gets around to
Zing.
Business this
showing
one.
up.
I like to do stuff, and adventuring is cool, but I'm running out of materials.
That's
Well,
valid.
well, then
Are you
let's
working
ask the.
Are you working on a particular project right now?
I finished the pouches. I'm not sure what I'm making next. I don't know.
Didn't you have plans for the mithril?
I did. That's true.
Yeah, Urzok, we found this source of mithril and a bunch of these little blue sapphires just in a random wall. They'd just used it to create a space, like a blockade between one space and another.
They're just
We-
sitting there.
As it turned out.
So not another mine of any kind.
No. Yeah, I think I want to work on that when we get back to Saltmarsh. Because what I want to do with that will take a little bit of time. It's not something I can do in a day or two.
That's fair.
That's fair. Maybe you could figure out a way for us to take the Kraken with us. Some sort
Sure.
of enclosure while we're here. I would give you something to do.
Hey.
And we can always check with Shimmerus and see if they need work on anything else again.
That's a good point. If I get the fire hot enough, I can make it a glass bowl.
There's
We-
lots of sand here.
You've got plenty of sand.
Okay.
Pretty big bowl. Well, I guess
Yeah.
Kraken is pretty tiny at the moment.
It'd be small at the moment. We could upgrade.
That's true. Actually, if we've got something that's big enough in metal, I could use the heat metal spell and see if it will melt the sand.
Ooh, I like that.
There is a foraging area here on the island. You could use it. I'm sure there's plenty of space to do works. And you'll just have to go gather some sand, which shouldn't be too difficult.
That's my
Urzak,
project.
One of the things that has been started to be taxed is actually is blacksmith goods and glassware that's being made. You've hearing the talk of making something glass is kind of bringing back that frustration.
Yeah, I will ask Jaffer if she's had to deal with any of the scarcity of materials due to some of these tax increases.
Ugh, not again.
I haven't had enough work to even worry about that.
Jaffer, what tax increases? You've never heard of a tax on this before.
That's
Yeah,
interesting. I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
We're doing that in
Agreed.
Saltmarsh now.
Yes, the greed of civilized men knows no bounds. It is a beast that cannot be fed.
So is men.
So at this point, then, the better question is, what's he not taxing?
I believe, at least right now, there is no cost to come in and out of the city, but I have heard discussions of such a thing being imposed.
Now that I do not like the sound of.
Are you
The
serious?
rest of it I can work around.
It is becoming difficult to separate the rumors from the fact. I say this, I am not an expert on these matters. I only hear rumors, but I do the best to avoid the things that will complicate things for me.
I mean, taxes against just commerce. It's, they tax a little higher. You raise the cost on your goods. Not a big deal.
It is for some.
Resources are not infinite, little one.
It's
even-
a big deal.
Even fishing has become difficult.
Aye, and it's a big deal for the people that don't have a lot of money to begin with. There's only so much fish that people need to eat. And the mine, if it does happen to make money, most of that's going to be going to the Monarch as well.
Ugh.
So what's there left for the people of Saltmarsh?
Not very much.
It's true that you can't eat gold, but you can't survive in a house that's fallen down because you can't pay to fix it.
I assure you, if there's a way to eat gold, Scarron will discover it sooner or later.
I mean, that's fair.
You're not wrong.
I don't know. This is such an interesting conversation, but I feel like I'm gonna piss you all off by how I feel about it.
It might be safe to say you'll be pissing off half of us. We're not saying your opinion's wrong, we're just saying we don't agree with it.
Right.
Well, on that note, maybe we should see if there's anything Shimmer's needs done.
Good idea.
Could give us something to do today. And then, with whatever time's left over, we could help Jaff from the Forge to make a tank for the Kraken. Have you thought of a name yet, Gwilyn?
Still working on it. I've got 2 pets to name. It has to be something good. Still working on it a bit. I keep trying to ask what the little thing would like for a name, but they haven't really gotten that through with the communication, mild communication barrier. So still working on that.
Well, she glances over at Fortune, who's still passed out in bed. Well, Fortune's asleep, so he can't talk to them for us, but maybe Urzok could.
Yes, I can do that.
Really? More people who could talk to my children. Well, I'll work with you. Still helpful.
That is true. Angela brings up a good point. If we so desired and we came up with enough good names, we could poll the audience to pick final names if people would like.
That's a good idea.
Could do that.
We have to come up with name ideas first.
Yes.
Kraken McCrackerface?
No.
Yeah.
Insta veto. No.
What about calamari?
That's the kind of shit I would do. I would totally name a Kraken calamari.
I mean, I wasn't going to say anything, but they are delicious with garlic and a little bit of oil.
Pulls it away.
Gwilyn, there's a story, I don't know if your folk have heard of it, of an ancient spirit of the seas that was sometimes known to assume a kraken form. My ancestors called it Hargathoa.
I don't believe I've read about that one, but I like the sound of it. Maybe it'll encourage them to grow larger.
My thoughts exactly.
Alright, for folks in chat, name Gwilyn's children. The poll is beginning to pop up in chat. I think. Oh my god. Garlic and a little bit of oil.
No.
Hargathoa, calamari,
No.
and Kraken McCrackerface.
No.
We'll call it
Not
Garlic
garlic.
Jr.
Garlic Jr.
I would call it crackles before I would call it garlic.
We all have crackles and crackers. Great. Yeah.
I'm sure that won't get it all confusing.
No,
Not at all.
never.
Yeah. I like Hargathoa though. That's definitely a good one.
It's definitely a good option. What are you going to name the Wolpachinger?
You have to just throw it all at me. You know, it takes time to find a good name for your child. You can't just
Ain't that the
throw
truth?
something out there and they're
Mercy.
stuck with it for their life.
Or until they can get a judge to sign an order.
For that. But what kind of judge is McCracken going to bring? I mean, it speaks infernal. That could
Oh,
get very messy.
There's plenty of judges that speak infernal.
I'm concerned about that. I'm sure
you
you
just
could
have to
find.
sign a minor agreement in blood.
Aye, that's the part I don't like. I don't really like signing things with blood. It's a bit messy.
It's generally something you shouldn't do. It doesn't
Jim.
ever end well.
So even though calamari and garlic and a little bit of oil both tied with 17% of the poll, it looks like Hargathoa did win audience participation there.
Yay!
All right, well, Hargathoa it is then, little one.
How do you like that? Can you ask how they like that?
Yeah, I can prep a speak with animals ritual, and I can play intermediary if Gwilla needs a little bit of FaceTime with her erstwhile child.
Trying very, very hard to bond while Fortune is asleep.
Jaffer, Shimris does say that it is absolutely doable to use the forge to make glass or any of the things. If you need assistance with gathering sand for that, they have several large sand-type baskets that you can fill easily for however much. Tessa does not know how much sand it takes to make glass, so whatever an appropriate amount is. And they said that the best place to gather it is down by this little rocky cove. It's a more of a pure sand beach than the other more pebbly locations. Yes, haggis for short.
Shimris, is there anything that you need to have done within the commune?
Not that I can think of today, but I will let you know if something comes up.
Okay.
So Urzak, you've prepped your speak with animals, and you guys have all headed over to the little Kraken.
I guess that's assuming the Kraken doesn't speak primordial.
The Kraken does
which I
speak
do
primordial.
speak. Well, then I don't need the spell. The Kraken and I
Excellent.
could speak primordial to each other.
Awesome.
Excuse me, I'm going to speak primordial to my brother.
Excellent. So what does it sound like when you are speaking primordial? What kind of... You don't have to mimic like the actual
No, and
language.
I'm not going to. It probably is less of a like a recognizable language and more just like low noises in the throat to simulate the sounds of like rocks creaking and falling, or like slow airy motions, a crackle of fire, the bubbling up of water, the running of a spring. Very kind of ethereal almost.
So you guys, you go ahead, and the Kraken have its attention, and he's looking at you with like his really big eyes, and he looks very, very cute. He's got little tiny tentacles. He looks more like a cuttlefish at the moment, like a fat, squishy cuttlefish than a Kraken.
Hello, little one. I must say, your caretaker has given you quite a name to live up to.
What is it?
You are called Hargathoa, after the ancient spirit of the deep.
I like it.
The name you chose, Gwilyn, is well received.
Excellent. They're so cute.
They are. It's unfortunate that only a few words of the Aquan get through, though.
I can still talk to it a little bit more. Just some of the finer details are lost. Like the name.
What does a spirit of the deep do?
Well, depending on its temperament, it can be a bane or a boon to those in its environment. It can bestow blessings or curses in equal measure.
Seems to be nodding his head, which is very interesting for a creature that is mostly head.
Sort of a gentle bouncing motion.
Yes.
Boingy, 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 boing.
That's adorable.
Your
What are you talking
caretaker,
about?
your caretaker wishes you to know that she finds you aesthetically appealing, but she laments not being able to communicate with you more directly.
that is okay. I understand. It is sometimes words are difficult. But then he like twirls his tentacles out like, I am very pleased, yes.
I love my child.
This is good. It is acceptable. I am pleased. Can you tell her thank you for me?
Agathor thanks you.
Agathor is very welcome.
I like the name, but we've got to think of a shorter version.
Not Arik.
Urzok is
That
kind of
could get
momentarily scandalized, like, can't nickname somebody who's named after an elder spirit. That'd be sacrilege.
Watch me.
Now, did you say elder or eldritch? I mean, what?
I said elder. What the DM chose to hear is up to her discretion.
Oh, excellent. Thank you.
Oh no.
I actually owe you an explanation on the reference test for the name, but I'll get that.
I look forward to it.
Didn't we also have a dragon turtle egg at some point?
Yes, you do.
I think it's probably still curled up with Fortune asleep. He's been
Maybe
keeping
once
it
at the
warm.
hatchery.
Or there, yeah.
I believe it was taken to the hatchery. Wasn't sure if there was any progress on it.
You are absolutely more than welcome to go find out.
I'll be back later, Agathor.
Angela, dead men get no scritches a pet simulator. I mean,
you're wrong, but you're right.
Blessings upon you, little one. We shall return later.
blessings of the deep go with you. He just kind of nods sagely, like, yes, I am important. You should bow down and worship me. I am important like the deep.
Urzok will spend the time in transit trying to explain to Gwilyn that when you give something an important name, it's important that you train it so it can live up to the legacy that you've bestowed on it, and all this very important sounding druid stuff that Gwilyn's like, yes, but what about my child?
I will carve out a little ship so that it could train dragging it to the bottom of the water.
Yes, we've got this. We'll train it well. Don't worry, Urzok. I have plans.
He's like a little stuffed ship, so it holds it and squishes it like a little stuffy.
Yes.
The two little parallel thought bubbles going up over their heads, and Urzok's is Gwilyn learning all these very respectful rites, and the Kraken growing up to be a responsible contributing member of the spirit ecology. And Gwilyn's is a Saturday morning cartoon intro of her and Agathor riding around.
Yes. Yep, that's exactly how I picture that going as well.
Maybe I can design some kind of breather so that it can breathe in salt water. It just filters the salt out.
That could work.
I'll think about it.
They can breathe air, so it can at least be on the shape. Or you can at least be on the shape.
Tess, would I know whether freshwater krakens are capable of magic?
They are capable of magic.
Eventually, the Agathor will be able to do these things for itself if it learns the proper use of its abilities.
Oh, so it's even going to have some magic abilities. That'll be interesting.
Best child.
We need to make sure the cook knows not to cook him.
Yes,
Nowhere
that would
near the
be
kitchen.
best. Wait, who is the cook? Where is the cook?
They're
On
on
the
the ship.
shape that's not here yet.
It's all right. He's terrified of us, so he'll never do anything like that if he wants to keep breathing.
It's true. It's really easy to intimidate this new crew we've got.
I look forward to the experience. And Urzok just smiles really big, showing all his teeth.
His name is aptly named Tack. That's our chef.
Jafar knows she has a list of all her employees.
Of course I do.
I would expect nothing less.
Are you the captain now?
One of
By
them,
day.
Knight Captain.
Ah, a timeshare. I am familiar with this concept.
And Crackers is the Lord Admiral.
Aye.
It was a lot of deciding back and forth, and that's what we settled on, so it's better not to ask.
There is wisdom in your words, little sister. Come, let us go to the hatchery.
This way.
So you guys make your way to the hatchery, and as you guys are walking down there, there is kind of a, for lack of a better term, a grab and go kind of breakfast set up. There's oat cakes that have been drizzled with honey and cream out there. There's fresh fruit and hot mugs of tea and what looks like almost like a hot chocolate as well. That are just kind of been set out for anybody to go about their day. So if anyone is hungry, they can absolutely grab something to eat.
Gwyn will just grab some that she can take with her.
Yeah, Jaffer munches.
Yeah, I grab a couple oat cakes and keep going.
Try their honey yourself. It's really good. Also very good in the meat. Just saying.
In a place where the bees are enormous and the krakens are tiny, how would I expect anything less?
Urzak, you have not had mead since Motley's went out of business.
That's true. And I will lamentingly mention this fact to the party so that they are in the know.
What happened to Molly?
Taxes on alcohol.
That is just wrong.
You still think all these taxes are a good thing, Jaffer?
Not when it hurts my friend. But, I wasn't there to help her.
Ah, yes, I believe I've heard of this concept, enlightened self-interest.
Good point.
Highly effective.
So Urzak, this honey is almost a red-purple color from all of the tropical fruits that the bees
Yes.
get their nectar from.
Yes, please.
And as you taste it, it tastes, there's almost like an effervescent fizzing to it, like almost like honey pop rocks with little pops and things like that. It's very good.
Well, I think you've gotten along well without me this far. I'm going to retire here. Goodbye now.
I can't say I'd blame you.
Right, it's amazing.
Tune in next Friday to see what Loki's new character will be.
Urzak's like, I'm done. It's cool.
I have literally
where I live.
found paradise. Why would I waste my time with the rest of this shit? The city's a, worthless tax hole.
There's mead, there's no taxes, there's no city. What could
All
be
the
better?
dangerous animals are tiny and adorable. This is great.
There are a few that are bigger and more problematic, like the
Purple worms?
honey bullet.
Oh, that was just a baby honey bullet.
The big toad thing we fought.
That's what I was
That
thinking of.
that one shot killed a dragon turtle. Yeah.
That's true.
Can you lick it?
I wouldn't have
try.
recommended it.
I'm not going to try.
Probably a bit fermented at this point.
I don't know why I pushed to talk to make that face, but
Right.
apparently it was needed.
It was entirely necessary.
Because that face spoke volumes.
It did.
All right, dragon turtle baby.
So you guys make your way to the dragon turtle hatchery. And Crackers, it is nice and warm and toasty in here. And there is fresh fruit hanging right outside the door. Shimmerus has kind of just put some more fruit out by the door, just like with a knowing grin, and walks away like, just in case, because the parrot now talks and I want to make sure that I am on the parrot's good side. I'm going to put some more fruit out because this is strange to me. But But as you enter, it is nice and warm, as it should be, since they're hatching eggs in here. And there are 2 eggs in here. One is a dragon turtle egg. One is an egg that you are not familiar with.
If I recognize it.
You could roll me a nature check.
How do the eggs compare in size?
They're close to the same size, though the other egg is noticeably larger. It seems to be much like the dragon turtle egg. It seems to be scaled slightly, but is a deep bronze in color. If anyone would like, they can make a nature check.
I rolled a 12.
Some sort of large reptile egg.
Okay.
That's 19.
I'm not good at this, so I was like, sure. And it is a 20. I can't believe it's a 20, but it actually...
You are both pretty sure that this is a dragon egg.
Gwilyn, is that what I think it is?
I mean, that's what it looks like. Judging from books. I've never seen one in person, but that's what it looks like.
Neither have I. Gran saw one once in person and she described it and looks exactly like that. The color was different though. She saw a blue one, but still. I think that's a dragon egg.
As in a dragon.
As in a dragon.
Not like the little alehouse drake baby. Like a big dragon.
Should we hope that it was adopted with the consent of its parent?
Given the type of people we've seen them to be, I'd expect that to be the case with them. But
Agreed.
it's not wrong to ask.
Is there an attendant around?
Currently, no, there is not an attendant. But people are around. It shouldn't be hard to get one.
Coral sticks her head out the door. Excuse me, is there someone we could ask a question about? Question to?
Oh, yeah. 1 second. And one of the Furbolg... Matthew, which Furbolg is it that comes over? Because my list of Furbolg names has disappeared off my desk.
This would be Shireen.
Okay. So Shireen comes in. You had a question. What's up?
Well, we were wondering, is that what we think it is? And she points at the second egg. Is that a dragon egg?
Oh,
That'd be amazing.
yes. Yes, it is. And as you guys are speaking, a little tiny pseudo-dragon pokes its head in the door, looks around, sees Urzok, eyes get huge and really excited, and immediately comes over and curls up around in his hair.
Zot, you finally woke up.
Oh yeah, that's the one we found on the ship.
Good to see you again, little guy.
Just kind of grins at you guys and then goes back to snuggling Dad.
So, if you don't mind us asking, how'd you get a dragon egg?
Well, it was the strangest thing. It washed up on shore last night.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
It washed up on shore.
Yeah. There was a boat that went by the island. Well, a ship really that went by the island. About probably an hour before it washed up. I think they may have chucked it overboard.
Who would chuck a dragon egg overboard?
Not sure.
Someone who doesn't wish to be caught with it.
That's true. Someone who doesn't
Valid.
want to make the mother angry.
Well, we figure we'd try and take care of it until either its mother arrived, or if she doesn't, then at least we've done our due diligence to raise it as it should be raised.
Is there any way to talk to this one? I know that one talks.
I speak Draconic, so I could try. I don't know if it will respond, but I could speak to the eggs and see what happens.
I've got a spell, but you could do it without that.
And you can certainly try.
All right. Pardon
Worth
me.
finding out.
Gonna go talk to some eggs then. She'll go and sit down. How hot is it over by the eggs? What do they use to keep them hot? Because I don't want to burn myself.
There's a low fire, and some coals under each. There's a low fire nearby, and then there seems to be a steady supply of coals that are being put underneath a metal brazier to keep them warm.
Okay. So I'll sit down next to it, but not between them and the heat. All right. Here goes then. Let's see what happens. And she'll switch to Draconic. Hello, little ones. Can you hear me? Are you awake in there?
From one of the eggs you hear, sleeping. Shush.
Can I tell which one?
Make a perception check.
It's not bad. 15.
You think it's coming from the dragon turtle egg? Doesn't seem to be anything coming from the other egg.
Okay. Can you tell if your neighbor's sleeping as well?
You didn't talk to me.
Well, that's strange.
What is it?
Well, the dragon turtle egg says that the other one hasn't spoken to him. I don't know if it's because the regular dragon egg's too little or what, but it's not speaking back yet. Switches back to Draconic. I'm sorry to bother you, little dragon, if you're in there and you can hear me. We don't know what happened that got you separated from your mother, but the people here would like to get you back to her if we can. Can you answer me? Can you hear me?
Let me see 1 second. I'm gonna roll something. Of course, I roll a natural 20 for this. You hear a very quiet, very soft voice. It just says, "Hello?"
Hello, little one. Can you hear me?
Mom?
No, darling, I'm not your mother, but we're trying to find her. Do you know where she'd be?
No.
Did you hear anything before you ended up here? Anything that was strange that might help us figure out what happened?
Gears and brotherhood.
Coral growls a little, and she was just speaking Draconic,
That's
so
okay.
he probably doesn't sound that abnormal. Oh, I've got bad news. Well, good news and bad news. The little one's speaking to me. It's very quiet.
Oh, that's good.
It sounds like it's very young, like it maybe just learned to speak at all, but The only thing it remembers hearing before it ended up here and is speaking to me is the word gears and brotherhood.
Does that mean anything to me?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Anyone who would like to can make a, let's go, history check to try and identify why those two words would go together. Urzok, if you would like to make the same check, you will do so at advantage. But I'm assuming you don't necessarily need to make that check. Yeah.
Yeah, a Coral is racking her brain, and yay bardic ability. I got a 18.
18 as well.
9.
Crackers, was that a don't bother asking, or?
14.
Unfortunately, none of that is quite high enough to get that information. Urzok, if you choose, you may absolutely talk about what you suspect, potentially.
What in the seas could that mean?
I don't know, but it doesn't sound good. Anyone else have any ideas?
Not me.
I mean, I work with gears all the time. I don't make any connection.
Nothing I could connect to a dragon.
Back to Draconic. Do you know your mother's name, little one, or anything I could use to try to find her?
Let me think about that, and I will get back to you on that one, because I will need to think of something or think about that for a minute. So, just there is a long pause from inside the egg. Go ahead and continue amongst yourselves while I do a little looking up something.
Gwilyn, we shouldn't try to take this egg, okay? So stop saying
But
it.
why?
We shouldn't try to take it.
I haven't said anything yet, but I think you're starting to read my mind.
It might have just been what I said in my head too.
I mean,
it would be safe with us, and then these people are going to get hurt if it comes.
Right,
but to us,
they can't
I think
fight.
we're good enough.
What if the
Right.
mother comes? I mean, they're not the most charismatic either. So, like, if we run into the dragon and we're going to be traveling, so we're more likely to, we could talk to her.
Right.
And then, you know, if she's not up for talking, we'd be happy to take in the baby dragon.
Think of the babies.
Right. I mean, I think we'd make pretty good dragon parents.
Yeah.
At least this one of us would be able to speak with.
I mean, I could cast a spell. I'm just afraid to do it first thing because somehow I'm always too tired to cast the Reminia later.
What did my gran call it? It's a spell exhaustion.
Aye.
It's like you've only got so much. You've only got so much energy, and if you use too many spells, you waste all your energy, and then you can't cast anymore.
Exactly. And I'm as much as I want to use it for this, like because you already can talk to, I'd rather do it that way for now.
We've had our share of crazy discussions.
You
But
say
this is madness.
crazy.
We are not taking in a potentially stolen dragon baby.
But we could return
Stolen,
it, Crackers.
rescued. It was rescued.
Right. It was rescued by the Furbog. We would just be helping out to try and get it out there. You know, in the open sea, this island was hard to find. Maybe it's hard to find for the dragon too. We could return it to its mother. Like heroes.
I think the egg is safer here.
I think you're wrong.
I think you're wrong as well. I'd agree with Jaffa.
Do you know something, Urzok? You sound very serious.
If there is some faction out there manipulating a dragon's offspring risking putting the egg back in their hands, which I think we would do by taking it away from here, is dangerous. Leaving it here, a place that relatively few people even know exists, I think is the safer play.
But is it safer for the people here? If they find the island?
Right.
I mean,
Think
look
of
at us.
Think of the babies.
How
gonna get hurt.
often do we actually stay in one place or go like from point A to point B without going through a bunch of other letters in between? They'd never find us. We don't even know our course half the
I don't
time.
even know where I am right now.
Right? I mean, without the map, I've got nothing. So how could they possibly find us?
And if they do, what makes you think you can put up any more of a fight than the people here?
They're pacifists.
Yeah.
You told me yourself there are other things on this island that are much more intimidating.
Not than a dragon. And they usually kind of keep to this area.
I have no reason to expect it's a dragon that's going to come looking for this egg if it fell off of a ship.
Well, there's a lot of things we could do. Once we figure out some more information, I'll see what the dragon wants to do.
Coral, you get the name Toarma, Toarma. And then anyone who wants to can make a history or nature check on that name if it is shared.
Yeah, she would share it.
26.
19.
15.
Much lower than all those rolls.
Okay. So most of you know that name. It sounds very familiar. I think everybody except for Urzak knows that name because the name is synonymous with Lady of Fire. She's a notorious bronze dragon that lives on the coastal cliffs of not so far outside of Saltmarsh. Actually, not too far from the Deadwood. She is known to be incredibly kind and benevolent, but also has a very protective streak. You're not entirely sure where her lair is, but there are legends and rumors of her being in the area and being a force for good. Though you get the idea that if somebody has stolen her child from her, it is not going to end well for that person.
Yeah, so Coral's like, it says its mother is named Toarma?
The Lady of Fire. If we return this egg to the Lady of, the boons we would get. Dragons have crazy treasure.
And, I mean, we have to go that way eventually anyway, because the lizard folk are going to ask for our help. That's all in the same general area.
Yeah, think of the booty.
Well, now that I know who it's supposed
That dragon booty.
Now that
Wouldn't
I
be
know
the first time.
Who its mother is, I could try using Ascendant and see if I can get a hold of her.
And if you can ask for permission to bring the egg to her, and then we're doing a favour that we were even sent to do. See, Crackers, no stealing at all.
We'll see
What is going through
happens.
Cracker's head right now?
Oh god, I'm with a bunch of
Screaming.
idiots, probably.
High-pitched screaming.
Fear of incineration.
Suddenly
yes,
rethinking companion
By all
choices.
means, go ahead and attempt your sending. Just maybe don't mention where we are yet.
Right,
Well,
just
she's
in
known
case.
for being a force for good, so I'm not. I mean, I'm worried, don't get me wrong, it's dangerous, but I'm not like terrified yet. Kind of awestruck,
being-
maybe, but Yeah. She put yet in there on purpose. All right, well, here goes, I guess. Let's see what happens. I don't know if she's going to answer me, but we could try.
Think of it, Jaffer. We could have a baby dragon.
For a little
You're not
bit.
keeping the baby dragon.
We're sorry, the dragon
Then
you're
we
trying to
could
reach
have
is
a
no
break.
longer in service.
Jaffer winks at Gwilyn.
And then we could be owed favors by an adult dragon.
Or ancient, who even better.
You guys are adorable. And so crazy, the both of you. To be fair, Callie was just as crazy, so.
You're welcome, Tessa.
Logan, I'm so sorry for what Callie did to you.
Okay. I didn't count this out, but I can't imagine this is more than 25 words because it's very straight to the point.
Right.
Great Lady of Fire, my friends and I have found a lost egg that claims you as its mother. We would like to return it to you if we may.
Give me one moment.
Please deposit 25 platinum for the first 25 minutes and 5 platinum for each additional minute.
Oh my
Can I
God.
afford that? I think I can afford that.
And there are a
Might-
whole generation of people who are never going to understand those
I
jokes.
know. There are children, you know that, right?
I am aware.
All right. Where are you?
That's not a good face.
That's the entire response.
I'm trying to think if there is a further response. I have been hunting for 2 weeks for my child.
I relay this to everyone.
Oh,
So she responded? That's crazy. She's asking where we are, and she says she's been hunting for her child for 2 weeks.
see, we could be saviors delivering a baby back to its mum. What nobler cause could we possibly undertake?
You should leave the egg on the beach for its mother to come take and involve yourselves no further.
See, someone here sees reason.
This is the first time that Crackers and Urzok have seen eye to eye on anything, I think.
so.
Yeah.
It's funny what self-preservation will do.
Well,
We
I
don't have any of
definitely-
that.
Or lack
I
thereof.
don't think I should tell her where to find it, or at least.
By all
I
means,
don't
tell
have
her where to
s-
find it, but do not expect that you'll be doing some sort of exchange. This creature will come, it will take its offspring. If you are very lucky, you will walk away unscathed.
I'm not planning to ask for any reward. I'm not stupid. If she gives us
That wasn't
something
directed
that's-
at you, little sister.
If she gives us something that's great, but I'm not going to ask for anything. All right. Do we have coordinates for this island, or is it just a random uncharted island?
Fortune has been making notes on the maps that he has, so you do have a generic idea of where it is.
If we're going to leave it on the beach, we should at least take it to a place further away from the compound. Because
I
if
agree.
she's angry about it, then we would be getting these people into trouble.
That's
I
true.
don't disagree.
All right.
Be sure in your reply to ask how soon she will arrive.
And look for a smoke signal. We can get that together, and then it's easy to mark where it would be.
Hey, fire's easy. have to take it further away, though. Like, the opposite coast, if possible.
Yeah, it's like a 3-hour walk, I think.
Right. We could do it.
Easily done. Could also leave it in a boat if she doesn't want to touch the land.
But you want your boat, though.
I
Right?
don't need my boat. I can get another boat.
Jaffa probably won't need a
That's
boat.
true.
This isn't
So
even my. It's not even my boat.
You stole your boat. That's good.
Respect.
So I'm assuming in my notes I put in like XXX longitude and XXX latitude, but she's gonna say whatever is appropriate. We're on an island, such and such location. We can create colored smoke to lead you here. The egg washed ashore after a ship passed by.
Thank you. I will be there before nightfall. I will not harm anyone on the island as long as my egg is unharmed.
Escort mission. Just prove that we're good parents by not breaking the egg.
Please keep it where it is. If it is safe and speaking, it is properly warmed. I would like to not jeopardize it any further.
So don't wild shape into a marsupial. Gotcha.
Dire kangaroo.
Boing, boing.
Oh, dire wombat, please.
Forgive me.
Okay, I relay this all to everyone else. So, I don't know about the rest of you, but my plan for the rest of the day is protect the fuck out of this egg.
You should ask permission of the village before we consent to let the dragon come here. It is not our place to volunteer.
Amusing that you think our consent matters at this point.
Consent is always important, crackers.
We are guests in their home, bird. There are
I think
rules.
the dragon is going to come, whether they consent to it or not.
Is Shireen still in here?
Yes, she is. She didn't leave.
Okay. If I'm assuming so then she's been clued in on everything we were just talking about.
Yeah.
So Shireen, I mean, I know you're amazing people. You must want to get back home, and its mother can come get it. I'm assuming that's not a problem.
No, of course not. It is the way of things. It is nature. The child should be with its mother. We have done nothing to harm the egg. In fact, we probably saved its life by getting it out of the cold sand.
Hey,
We have
that's true.
nothing to hide. And if this dragon is good, as you say she is, then I trust it at its word.
I have to be honest, I've never met her, but she doesn't sound evil or crazy when she's speaking to me. And she said that as long as her egg's unharmed, she's not planning to do anything to anyone. And she asked that we keep it where it is, because if it's safe and it's speaking, then it must be alright. And properly warmed.
And that is all that matters.
That's fair, nice.
Alright.
I will let Shimris and the others know.
Thank you, Shireen. Switches back to Draconic. I've got good news, little one. We got a hold of your mother.
Huh?
That's right, we got a hold of your mom. She's gonna be coming to get you. Do you have a name, little one?
Don't know.
We're gonna call you Torma Jr.
You get a... Thank you, Logan. You get a very grumpy, you done talking? Sleeping? from the other dragon egg.
Sorry, other little one. We'll be leaving you alone now. You're safe here, and we're gonna make sure you stay that way.
Kind of all the response you get. The salty dragon turtle egg.
Is that one's not going with us, right?
No, the one that would potentially be going with you is the one that is already hatched. Is Shiny Baby.
Shiny baby.
Although you guys are gonna need a bigger ship with all of the animals you are taking with you, supposedly. So you've got a dragon turtlet, you've got a baby kraken, and a Wolpertinger at this point.
The Wolpertinger's not that big, though, is it?
No, it's basically the size of a small lop bunny.
Wolpertinger was the practical pet. Everything else is potentially less so.
Vanity pet.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's that done. And this one wants us to leave so it can go back to sleep.
I respect that.
So there is a flurry of noise happening outside at the moment.
What's that then?
I don't know. Maybe they're getting something ready to greet the dragon.
Let's
peek
try
I'll
out.
go
it.
check.
So you peek out, you see people packing supplies and things into carrying baskets. You get the idea that they're totally fine with the dragon coming here. Don't know that they're gonna be here when it is, though.
See,
These people are much smarter than I gave them credit for.
very sensible.
I don't suppose the rest of you can be persuaded to follow suit.
I will take no persuading.
I'm not
I
gonna
have to.
leave. I'm not gonna leave an egg by itself when its mother's coming to get it, especially since we don't know who had it and who left it behind.
Aye. If that's such a dangerous organisation you're worried about, then we should stay with the egg. It's the responsible thing to do.
Plus, I have work to do.
And that. Also, I'm not leaving my baby kraken. Are they taking the kraken with them?
They are not.
See? I'm not leaving my baby kraken.
But let it never be said that Urzok Stormcrow deserts his friends.
Let it be said.
Guys, you guys gotta protect Fortune and Suds.
Aye. Fortune is very hard to wake. I don't think
I
he's
was
getting
gonna
up today.
If he can sleep through this, good lord.
Right? It was a heck of a time yesterday. Well, sort of yesterday, sort of the past few days. I mean, switching planes is a bit complicated.
Agreed. It was a bit of a trip.
And what about you, Bird? You stay or will you go?
I will remain for a while, but I reserve the right to fly away as soon as I see that dragon.
That's fair.
Because dragons can't fly.
You'll totally be able to get away. Don't you worry.
If you can outfly a
Technically-
dragon, sure.
You could dive into the water now that you've got your special helmet that lets you swim.
There is that.
Could be like one of those seagulls. You dive into the water and swim underneath it for a bit.
You mean a fisher bird?
Is that what they're called?
Hey. You see it all the time when you're out on the water.
That's true. I don't usually stop and ask them what they're called, though.
It's the polite thing to do. Not that they tend to answer me, but I can usually persuade someone to tell me what they say.
When the pods swim in between Lamina and Saltmarsh, we don't make many stops except when we need to rest.
It's a long trip. I understand that.
That's true. Thankfully, there's a couple of mages that can cast Layman's tiny raft, and it keeps us safe at night.
That's very handy to
love it.
have.
Lambert's tiny raft. That's amazing.
It's pretty funny, actually, watching a shark try to get you and smack into the outside of it. I'd never know what hits him.
I hope to see that one day. I don't think anyone on our ship knows how to cast that. Not our ship, but me mum's.
That doesn't surprise me. It's more of a Lutrudine spell, really. Most people don't need it.
That's fair. It's still fascinating. I'd like to see it one day.
There is a shout from outside as a ship has been spotted.
And what ship is it?
I don't know.
Let's go find out. I hear shouting and I'm going to go investigate.
Hope it's the lady. Early.
That would be great.
Oh, Urzok, we need to ship the Lady of the Marsh.
Oh, hey, you weren't here for that.
Yeah, go out and look.
I go out and look.
Make me a perception check, please.
Oh no.
It's a far off distance. You gotta make sure you can see it.
23.
10.
11.
18.
10.
You can say that it is the lady.
Your prayers have been answered. Your ship has arrived. Just in time for the dragon.
Good.
We should warn them about that so they don't panic.
If they're worth their salt, they're not going to be panicked at all about the dragon.
I'm just saying, we do have a few new to this sort of experience who might react a bit hastily, not questioning your employees. Just saying, it might be a bit of a surprise. And as
Good point.
several other spellcasters, I'd rather they didn't get themselves into trouble.
That's fair.
When they get closer, I could send a message, but I don't have anything that could reach them from here.
I could use a send-in, but it's my last... I'm not sure I'll be able to cast that spell again for a while.
I can swim out to them. It's no trouble. Just tell me what you want me to tell them.
There's that as well.
Everyone is always overthinking these things, and I just fly out to the ship.
Not
didn't
all
think-
of us have that option.
We didn't think you could be bothered, bird.
He's long gone. He can't hear you.
I yell at him anyway.
Just imagine Crackers lifting one particular wing feather as he's flying away. Oh, Crackers is too classy for that.
Doesn't mean you won't think it.
That I'm sure he does. It's just one talent extent.
So are we doing the colored smoke? Was that a necessary thing, or is it simply enough that she can like dragon GPS us?
I would say that you probably should still. She's still, I think, expecting the colored smoke at this point. But while you guys are working on that, I'm gonna focus on Crackers for a bit. Crackers, you are flying out to the ship, and you see Vareed on deck, and you land safely. And is there anyone in particular that you are looking for? Cannot hear anything if you are currently speaking. Apologies.
Sorry, I was trying to find the names of all of our crew.
Ah. See, there is Tack, there is Orville, there is Vareed, there is Salty Sybil. Trying to find the other names. Those are the ones that I can find right now. Oh, there's Dal.
No, not Dal. He's largely useless. Probably Salty Sybil.
Okay. So Salty Sybil is the Tabaxi helmsman. So you fly on up and alight near her up on top.
Ahoy hoy.
Oh, Crackers, it's good to have you.
Yes, I am rather pleasant to be around. But
Very true.
a few things to inform you on. Firstly, it is good to see you and the ship and the rest of the crew. We have greatly missed you since we were separated. But there's some odd goings on in this particular island. And sometime in the next few hours, we anticipate a rather large bronze dragon appearing. Now, this dragon should be benevolent, we hope, and not be cause for any concern or any sort of altercation. But we just want to make sure that everyone is on the same page in that regard. So, when the dragon appears, no firing, no shouting, no panicking, nothing that could be seen as some sort of instigation towards violence. Yes?
Will do. Not a problem. Is everyone okay? Is anyone hurt? Have you guys been all right? At least, I can make sure that. I can make sure that the crew knows. Would you prefer us to maybe take the boat to a different cove on the island to be out of sight, or would you prefer us to stay within sight of the bay up here?
I think if you weigh anchor a little ways off the bay, you can see the Beach Borg compound from here, I believe.
Yes.
Yes, just weigh anchor ways offshore. That should be most efficient.
Aye, Lord Admiral. Your orders have been received.
Very good. And yes, once this dragon business is sorted out this evening, I've no doubt that we shall be quickly on our way back onto the high seas. Oh yes, I suppose I should have a word with our chef regarding some new companions who will be joining us on our ship, who have some rather particular dietary concerns. So I shall do that. As you were, helmsman, and I shall fly below deck.
Aye, Admiral, as it pleases you. And she starts calling out orders for where they are going to weigh anchor. So, and you fly down to find Tack in the galley. He has currently got a fish stew that he is preparing. Smells very good, but you're not a meat eater, and you are pleased to see lots of fresh fruit.
Things seem to be well provisioned down here.
Oh, Lord Admiral! And he salutes you.
You can put the ladle down before you salute, you know.
Right. Sorry.
That's okay. Well, just checking in to make sure everything is all right down here, since we have been apart for some time. You seem to have taken a good hold of things in the galley. It seems to be running well.
It is shipshape, as they say.
Indeed. So, how are we on carrots?
I can see if well, we can maybe when we put to shore to pick you up, I can see if we can find some wild ones that I can cultivate. I am starting to get a little low on fresh veg, but I can imagine we can work something out. Maybe even getting some boards and some soil. I can perhaps start a small ship's garden up on top deck.
That would be quite good. Oh my goodness, I didn't actually ask what krakens eat.
I'm sorry?
Yes, we're going to be joined on the ship by a few new companions. A Wulpertinger, which is what I asked the carrots for, a very minute kraken, and a dragon turtlet. So I imagine the latter two would mostly be interested in fish.
All right. Fish I can do quite easily. I will do some research and see if I can't find out if there's anything else that they need dietarily.
That would be most helpful. Thank you.
Is there anything else I can do for you, Lord Admiral?
Not at this moment, no. As you were.
Very well.
I shall fly back above deck and perch on the crow's nest and look regal.
Verita's up there, and he kind of looks over at you and goes, "Good afternoon."
Good afternoon. Anything on the horizon? Any other ships you've seen?
No ships, just the island.
Well, do keep a weather eye. We were told there's another ship who sailed by this particular island last night.
Noted. Any interesting news from the island?
Oh, nothing of particular interest.
How's Gwilyn? Is she alright?
She's good.
Good.
Shall I tell her you asked?
You can if you want. He kind of flushes a little bit. He looks like he's trying to play it cool. He is not doing a good job of playing it cool.
Ah, the sea air. It's bracing.
It is. It's my favorite place to be. Much better than stuffy old house.
All alone. A bachelor apartment, perhaps?
Yes. A bachelor apartment.
Well, don't worry. I'm sure that a good time, if you are so inclined, you will find an appropriate mate.
Sure. If it is in the cards for me, I'm sure at some point I might.
Have you practiced your dance?
My dance.
Yes, to attract a potential mate, a display is usually very, very useful and traditional.
I have not practiced dancing. I should start that maybe. I've
yes.
heard that. I mean, a display like giving somebody flowers.
Oh, giving gifts is good as well, yes. Showing that you are capable and can provide for your mate and any young that you may sire.
I don't even know how she would feel about that. But Okay. Yeah, I could do that. That's a good idea.
And be sure to be looking your best. She must see that you are of good breeding yourself.
He kind of looks down at himself in his kind of open tunic jacket and mostly bare chest and his kind of cut off pants and boots. He goes, "Where do I find a new wardrobe on the sea? What do you suggest?"
Well, let's see, let me have a look at you. You are a little on the lithe side, so perhaps something that accentuates your figure?
Okay.
I suppose it depends. Bipedal women, they have different tastes, don't they? You can never really say what any particular one is going to desire. I guess it depends on the woman, or not, I shouldn't assume, the person you're wishing to woo, and what you think they would most appreciate in your personage. And just dress to accentuate that feature.
What do you think Gwilyn likes?
Aside from baby animals?
Yes. I know she likes baby animals. She adopted almost every stray that she could find. And most of the time her mom would not let her keep them. But the ones that she did get to keep were usually ferocious in nature.
Well, if I had to guess, and granted I don't know Gwilyn nearly as well as you, but I'd say, the butt. Something that's going to bring that out.
So I should borrow Fortune's wardrobe.
Ask first.
Oh, of course. I would never not ask first.
I have literally seen that man kill someone over a pair of boots.
Yeah, he's kind of a clothes horse. I wouldn't dare to not ask. Okay.
Yes.
Accentuate the butt. Got it. Bring gifts,
and
practice dancing.
Yes, and show your nurturing side as well. We're going to have some new additions to the ship. A Wolpertinger, a tiny kraken, and a dragon turtlet. So just show your affection, your ability to be a good parent type figure to those, and I'm sure she'll find you most attractive.
Noted. You guys let Gwilyn near the baby animals on the island, then I take it.
We didn't
Hence
really
we
have
are.
a choice.
You usually don't once she puts her mind to something. It's kind of endearing. Or crazy, depending on what scheme she's hatched. I shouldn't talk about my captain like this. I'm gonna... Yeah, buttoning the lip. But thank you for the advice.
Of course. I shall stand there looking magnificent for a moment longer and then fly back to shore.
Just kind of jauntily salutes you as you fly back off.
Don't forget the dance!
I won't! Alright, back to shore. While Crackers has been spreading the word, what have you guys been up to?
Jaffer's been gathering sand in the baskets that she was provided.
Gwilyn would help But she'll be talking about the baby Kraken the whole time.
Coral is probably stayed. If they're wandering off to go get the sand for the glass, she's gonna stay near the dragon and the dragon turtle egg, just in case. She wants someone to be near them, just in case, because if anything happens to that egg, that mama dragon's gonna come down on our asses like nothing else. So she's like, I am protecting this baby so hard right now.
And what is Urzok doing?
If there is not already a fire pit in the vicinity of the hatchery, he will be building one.
Okay, so you're just outside of the hatchery. No, you and Coral could probably still be talking to one another.
Probably so.
While Gwilyn and Jaffra head off to get sand. So Gwilyn and Jaffra, as you come around to the beach that they were talking about, you see a bunch of sea lions all kind of just bellies up, just kind of sunning themselves on a bunch of rocks. It's a nice little sandy beach. They don't seem to pay you any mind. They just seem to be doing their thing.
Cute.
Yeah.
Nice quiet beach. Very relaxing vacation. Can't wait to leave, right?
I mean, I'm more of a city girl, so that's what it is.
I'm more of a sea girl, so I get it a bit. Being on land for too long drives me a bit crazy.
I could tell. I just like being busy, and this has been a nice vacation, if you can call it that.
Well, I mean, we've only had to fight for our lives a few times, so that's like a vacation for me. I don't know about you.
I guess it is. Jack will just begin to scoop sand into the baskets.
Yep. How much of this are we going to need?
Well, we want a big container, so
A lot.
it's gonna be pretty big. It's gonna be like a tub.
Ooh. It'll have a
What?
nice tub. I like it.
Yeah. Hargadthoth, or whatever this call's name is. It's gonna need a lot of room to swim around in. You can't have too small of a tank.
Hargador.
I don't know.
When Urzok's not around, we probably will have to find a nickname for some of you. But that's alright. He doesn't need to know.
I didn't want to be disrespectful. He seems to care about that kind of thing a lot.
Hey. So,
And while you guys are gathering, what are Urzok and Coral talking about? If anything.
So, how dangerous do you think it's going to be for the dragon to come here? I mean, really, she sounded nice. All the stories say she's nice. Well, maybe nice is the wrong word, but they say that she's good.
Good is a matter of perspective, little sister. I think our fates depend entirely on how overzealous her protective streak is.
Well, she didn't sound angry at me when I told her we had the egg and that we were trying to get it back to her. She sounded more frustrated than anything, considering she's been looking for it for 2 weeks.
If it's been on a ship, suggests the egg has been on the move. It's no wonder she was unable to locate it. We can only hope that she will perceive this as a favor for her. Not that we should expect anything in recompense, but I will be grateful to walk away from this with my life. Dragons are powerful creatures, and we trifle with them at our own peril.
That's true. Well, for what it's worth, I'm definitely not trying to trifle with her. I'd try to get a baby back to its mother no matter who it was. Well, I suppose there's a few exceptions, but they'd have to be some really awful mothers for me to say no.
I suspect there are people who would consider infant krakens and dragon turtles things best not reunited with their mothers. And yet here we are.
Well, in this case, considering we're calling Gwilyn their mother, I'd take him back to her. But I suppose if we were talking about one of the Krakens of the deep that was trying to tear down ships, you've got a point.
We'll probably spend the rest of the time talking about like herbal remedies or something, whatever her grandmother's taught her, just swapping out herbal lore, stuff like that.
That works.
Is there anything else about the situation back at Saltmarsh that Urzok shares with Coral in particular, or does
I mean,
he
just
feel like he's
probably
touched on everything?
Yeah, I mean, just kind of probably reinforcing like it's borderline economic depression almost. Like just a lot of places are scaling back, or like the fact that Motley's has had to close down. Just the sheer weight of all the taxes on things, and the fact that the monarchy seems to be pressing harder and harder. Loki the player can read things into that Urzok the character probably would not, so I won't intimate that, but just overall a very unpleasant experience for an area that Urzok already doesn't generally like to be in.
That's absolutely awful. I don't see why they keep increasing the taxes. It's not like Saltmarsh has that much to begin with.
Perhaps
It's
the
almost
king
like-
wishes to have something, and he needs more resources in order to possess it.
I mean, maybe. But there's only so much we can provide, and if the monarch keeps taxing us to the point where people can't survive and keep their businesses open, then it's not going to do them any good. We can't provide anything to them if we're dead.
Perhaps someone else will step in and attempt to usurp the monarch's authority over Saltmarsh.
I mean, I suppose that's possible. As long as it's not the pirate princes, I'm not sure it could be much worse than the monarch with all this taxing bullshit that he's doing. I can understand Jaffer's point if we were in a big city like. I've heard that there the taxes really help keep things running and there's the city guard and all that. But in Saltmarsh, what do we need the taxes for? I mean, really? Our city guard's like 2 people and one of them's drunk and asleep half the time.
And yet they are equally effective. That's so weird. No one ever talks about that.
Well, the reason they're always effective, though, is because the people, we're used to pirate policing ourselves. I mean, we had to do something when the pirate princes were running things and attacking us all the time. We got used to it. We don't need a big city guard. We don't need to pay all these taxes to keep things running. Everyone's pretty self-sufficient until you start taxing us to the point where we can't be.
And it's that environment that worries me, that someone may attempt to take control, use that anger against the monarch to assert their own control over the city, whether that would be the Sea Princes or some other faction. I can't say.
Well, if it's the pirate princes, they can all go choke on their fucking mead. If it's the council, at least it wouldn't be so bad. Most of them have at least somewhat the best interests of the area at heart. Even the ones who are from the city, I think they'd rather be back in the city, but they're not awful people. I don't agree with them all the time, but they're not awful.
And what if they turned against each other? What if the loyalists and the traditionalists went to war? What would happen then?
Chaos. And I'm sure the monarch would send people to support his loyalists, or their loyalists. But it's hard to say. A lot of problems.
How did your group leave on terms with Scarron?
Things were all right, I think. We were doing what the council asked us to. We went to seek Gellin, and it's just a matter of finding out what happened exactly. Let me fill you in a bit on what happened when we went to search Gillen's house, actually, because you weren't there. And she relays to him the information about, we found this map.
Exposition.
Exposition. It doesn't look like Gellin actually is the bad guy. It looks like he might have been set up. And so we're searching, and we found a hidden cave and like this storage area under his house. So it looks like he's guilty, but maybe he isn't. We don't know yet, and all that stuff. So that's why we're here, actually. We were on our way to go seek out the space that Gillen had marked on his map to check it out and see what we could find. Because who leaves a map marked with coffee stains and a note that says they're not guilty and infernal? I mean, it could be a trap. I suppose it could be a trap. We'll find out. But it was worth a shot.
So at this point, Crackers, you come back in and you land near Urzak and Coral, just as Gwilyn and Jaffer are starting to come up the little slight bend into the main part of the compound.
The ship will be weighing anchor a small ways offshore. I've made them aware of the dragon situation, and they're also making appropriate preparations for our new companions who will be joining us on our voyage. I didn't actually ask anyone what krakens eat. I assume it's just fish?
I mean, I think it's fish when they're this small. At a certain point, it's sort of whatever they want.
We
Yes.
might have to see about doing some trade for vegetables for our Wolpertinger, or whatever we decide to call them.
I have a few ideas, but that's a good idea. We should get more vegetables. We should probably do that anyway, to be honest. I mean, where we have a place, it's not like the place we're planning on going is likely to trade with us. And who knows whether they have any good vegetables.
I think they'd be happy to, especially for doing this boon of returning the dragon egg that they found, so to not like have the dragon find it here. That could have been bad. So I'll try to convince them to give us some provisions.
We'll take the practical boon of vegetables.
I think it's a good idea, especially if we could have some sort of garden on the ship, because then we could keep growing them.
Ooh, that's a good idea.
It is.
There's enough wood and good soil here. We could probably take some with us. I don't think they'd mind.
Soil and fertilizer, that'd be great.
Well, with the animals we're taking with us, we probably have the last one pretty well handled.
That's true.
And one of them's a vegetarian, I believe, exclusively, so that could sort itself out quite nicely.
Urzak, it is about this time that your fire pit has been finished.
Behold, I have made fire.
Well done.
Throw some
Excellent.
metal shavings into it to kind of get the flame burning a little different color and the smoke going a little darker so it's more visible.
All right. So you get a nice blaze going.
Jaffer will begin working. She has her work brain going, so she's just silent and working, moving her, getting the sand in like a case or whatever.
Okay.
Do you need any help with that?
Of course,
or should
that'd
I
be
go
great.
be looking? All right.
So I'd
If you don't mind.
like
Of
you to
course.
make me a dexterity check using your proficiency with your Tinker's tools to create this glass enclosure for your kraken.
Dexterity?
Words Tessa never expected to say as a DM, but here we are.
Your glass kraken enclosure. I mean, it's not the strangest thing I've said.
16.
All right. It's starting out very well. You're getting it shaping the way you want it. You've got a good heat going. And while it is definitely tricky, you are manipulating it quite well. How often does Jaffer work in glass? She normally works in metals, right?
Right. But she's worked with she's not the youngest gnome, so she has worked with glass in the past.
Okay.
So it's probably an old thing, like oh, I haven't done this in a while. It's a great practice for me. She might even get like a wavy kind of flare on top of it.
All right, I want you to make me one more check then with advantage because Gwilyn is assisting you to, yes, glass from the past. I love it. To finish off this Krakenite closure.
Thankfully, I had advantage on that because it would have been a 1. That is a 17.
All right, so with a little bit of time and a little extra help, you do make a perfectly serviceable and fairly attractive Kraken tank. You managed to get that little bit of wave details in there.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
I must say I'm rather impressed.
It looks
I
great,
mean-
Jaffer.
You've seen my turrets, and you've seen my magical items. Now you see I'm very practical. It's not only magical stuff.
Well, your magical stuff's very practical too, for our daily lives at least.
Sure.
Right.
And then if I need to, I can just levitate it up then, so then we can move it easier.
That's perfect.
Sorry, there's a cat right off screen if you see me making weird faces.
It's okay.
Oh, by the way, Gwilyn, Vareed was asking about you, making sure you were well.
Oh, right. They doing well over there.
Oh, yes. Quite enjoying the crow's nest.
That's good. He always did prefer the crow's nest.
Among his preferences, yes, that is one of them.
But I mean, the sea would be pretty far up there as well.
Crackers' matchmaker is amazing, and I am very much enjoying this.
I imagine the two of you have quite a bit in common.
Well, we have worked together a long time. I've known him for years.
Really? How did the two of you first meet?
Well, he got into a bit of a pickle when he came into his powers. He's pretty young then. The age gap is odd at best, but he was pretty young then, and we sort of came upon him. We, shapes. We end up a lot of interesting places, and got him out of trouble. And then we took to train him in a bit because he wasn't very good with magic. I was trained too, but I didn't take to it very well, so I'm not that great at spells. I only know a few, but he's pretty good at it. Definitely a bit of trouble though when he came into powers. It involved a storm, like a really, really bad storm with the mist, and well, you remember the mists and when we travelled through them. We ran into one of the worst ones, and it was apparently he was at the centre of one of those storms out there, and somehow that's involved with his powers. I admit I was a bit distracted at the time, so I don't know all the details.
Distracted by what?
Well, I mean, I had my younger sister and I was learning swordplay at the time, and that was more interesting than picking up more strays. My parents pick up a lot of strays. It actually
Runs in the family.
It does a bit, and hanging out with Jaffa reminds me of them. I've got a lot of siblings that are not sea elves. Crew of strays. They're good people though. Actually, my eldest brother's a fireball, so being around this lot makes me miss him a bit.
Yes. I've heard it said that what matters in family is not blood, but the bonds of affection.
That's very true.
very strong bonds of affection in your circles.
I'd say so. The crew get along really well. I rolled a 3 out of character, so she has not picked up on this at all.
I'm sure Coral and Jaffer and Urzak are like, what? At least Coral, for sure.
She
I
just
guess-
thinks it's an odd conversation, but she's going with it.
You
Watching
mentioned
her
an age gap. I guess I've never really been curious up until now. Maybe been polite. Do you mind me asking how old you are?
123.
Yeah, so by Elven standards, a young adult.
Hey! For a sea elf, I'm pretty young. My sister's not yet 100. I like to tease her about it, but very moody still.
So much life still yet to live.
Aye.
Probably no thought of settling down or anything like that just yet.
Oh, no. I could never stay in one place. Terribly boring.
Well, maybe if you find the right one, though, you could travel with them
So
as you're
that's-
sailing around the oceans. You don't necessarily have to settle in one place. Lucidine don't. We travel back and forth all the time. My parents go with each other.
That's fair. My parents go too. There's so much business the way they do it. It's terribly boring. But I'm going to have a Kraken, so I won't have to deal with that. It's going to be far more interesting. The only problem is going to be dealing with... Mum's not probably going to be keen on that, but that's okay, because I have a plan. I might... For those of you, should you run into my mother when we get back, she's not going to be very happy with me, but the Kraken is going to help that because that's a perfect distraction.
Why is your mother not going to be happy with you exactly? Is it because of a read?
I didn't ask permission about who I was taking. You know, it's very important to the main crew with that, with spells and all. So that's likely why.
Had nothing to do with the fact that you have a crush on him at all. Nope, not even a little bit.
I am related.
I see. Yeah, that'll be fun to explain to your mum.
I'm going
Hope not be there at that discussion if you don't mind.
I can't say I blame you. I'm going to hold up a baby Kraken and just go on about that. That's my plan. It's foolproof, don't you?
It is about this time that you begin to hear what sounds like a steady whooshing of wind in the distance.
Gwyn runs out to the beach to get a better look. Well, runs away from the buildings a bit.
You can see above the clouds a streak of bronze in the sky. It's still a little bit distant, but you do see the bronze colors coming this way.
I cast invisibility.
Coward!
Coward or smart?
There's no need, the two need to be distinct.
This is true. You estimate that probably a minute or two and she'll be here.
Coral's gonna duck into the hatchery and go sit, which she's been checking on constantly and making sure it stays warm, and check on the eggs. Draconic, are you in there, little ones? Are you awake?
Yep. Weeks. Yeah, we're like...
Gwyn will cast comprehend languages just to be honest. While they wait.
Well, little dragon, your mother's almost here.
Mom!
We can see her. She's coming. Are you feeling all right in there? Do you need more heat?
No, Toasty.
All right. We'll let you know as soon as she's here. We'll come get you.
Please.
You stay safe. And she kind of like lightly pats the egg.
A few moments later, you do see a streak of bronze overhead. And the size of this dragon is immense. It's probably bigger than you would imagine. If those of you who've only seen dragons in storybooks, they've never done a dragon justice, ever. The sheer enormity of this creature is just almost beyond comprehension. You're not entirely sure how you would be able to hide something of this size. There is a soft landing noise from outside of the gates. And a few moments later, you see a very round figure walking towards you. Torma comes in through the little gate in a humanoid form. She has really soft, full cheeks, little hints of a soft double chin. She's very, very round, almost matronly. She's got a really kind of silvery hair that's pulled up into a loose bun, and her figure, it definitely appears to be strong, but while you normally think of the pictures you see in books of dragons' forms are usually these lithe, beautiful, like slender figures, this woman definitely just is kind of just really nicely plump and full-figured and very motherly. She doesn't appear to be your normal standard of, what societal standard of thin beauty, but she's definitely gorgeous. She's got very deep lines in her skin, almost like metallic grooves with the deep bronze of her skin. It also looks like she's got a bit of vitiligo, where the deep bronze is fading into almost like a tinny silver in places as she comes in through the gate.
Gwilyn bows.
Yeah.
Jeffrey does
Yeah.
the same.
Coral steps forward a couple steps and like curtsies.
Are you the one who sent to me?
I am. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for telling me about my child.
I'm just glad we could find you. Luckily, when he said the name, we recognized it because several of us have lived in Saltmarsh for quite a while.
Yes. Saltmarsh. Pity. Things there are not well.
Aye, so we've heard.
But, you're not here for that. So let's take you to your child. I'm sure you'd love to see him. Him. I was having trouble telling from the voice.
They will tell me when they're ready.
That makes sense.
Aye.
The hatchery is just this way. And she'll
Thank you.
start leading the dragon. She's very clearly like on edge to anyone who knows her. She's very just like relaxed, and she's very, very like stiff comparatively.
Hi, I'm Jeffrey Zanzib. She'll hold her hand out to her.
You get a very warm smile. It's nice to meet you, Jaffer. I'm Torma.
Gwilyn Hayes.
Gwilyn.
Pleasure to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
I'm sorry, I'm flustered. My name is Coral.
Thank you, Cole. It's nice to meet you.
Glad we could help you with the egg. It's not
It's
good
my
for
pleasure.
your baby to be far away like that. Don't know anything about the ship that dropped it, though, I'm afraid.
It's alright. I will deal with them soon enough. She kind of turns her head in the direction of where Crackers... Crackers, are you still in the area, or did you, like, leave?
No, I'm around. I'll be watching from what I consider to be a safe distance.
Alright. About how far away do you consider a safe distance?
About 40 feet.
Alright. She kind of turns her head in your direction and kind of bows her head slightly.
I freeze.
Hello, friend. You do not need to fear me.
If it's a parrot, his name is Crackers.
Hello, Crackers. And she turns her head back towards the hatchery.
Technically Lord Admiral, but you don't have to go through that.
And Urzok, she turns to you and sees your pseudo dragon. Well, hello, little one. And hello, friend druid. I have seen your work in our forests. It is good. And she begins to walk towards the hatchery. Once inside, she goes directly to her egg and puts her hand on it and begins to murmur softly in Draconic to her. Those of you who can understand, Draconic, she's basically just whispering like little lullabies and words of comfort, saying that, you know, she's here and he's safe and the egg is safe and that they need not fear anything. After a few moments, she comes out to all of you and smiles again. Thank you. I appreciate your work in getting me here to reconnect with my child. I will take my leave. But you might need to clear a little bit of space for me if you don't mind. The buildings are fine, obviously, but if I'm going to shift, she's carrying the egg in her arms at the moment. If I'm going to leave, I'll need a little bit more space.
Of course.
May I have a moment of your time, lady, before you leave?
Of course, friend druid. And she
He'll
turns
walk
to
with
you.
her toward the area where she's heading to leave.
Mhm. What can I do for you?
I don't know if your child will be able to convey this to you in ways you understand, but the people who are responsible for taking your child, they are the Scarlet Brotherhood. I believe that you should be able to do with this information as you see fit.
I know of the Brotherhood. Have you made a choice as to your allegiance then?
I see no reason to side with people who would either use an innocent child or try to blackmail its mother for their own ends.
A wise decision. Your deeds have not gone unnoticed, Urzok Stormcrow. I am glad to hear of your coming to terms with what is good and proper.
There's balance in all things, lady. I seek only to find it. And he'll turn and go.
You balance the world well. Look to balance your heart next. This is a step in doing so.
Crackers is trying to overhear this conversation. Can I get anything from it?
Rizak, were you trying to be particularly quiet?
No, I can't detect invisibility, so I have no way of knowing if Crackers is trying to eavesdrop.
Gwilyn is going to ask Dragon.
She doesn't really seem to mind if Crackers is listening in, so you hear the conversation. And as Urzok steps back, she begins to shift, and you see the deep bronze of her skin with hints of silver flicker and change as her shape changes. And in moments, there is a incredibly large bronze dragon in front of you. Her wings are outstretched, and the same kind of tinny silver pattern is reflected in her scales.
Absolutely beautiful.
Jeffrey's like sketching her.
Oh, good eye.
She's magnificent. It's amazing. Wait till I tell Gran.
Another thing to distract Mum with.
That's true. She'd actually probably be more impressed by the fact that we did a favor for Torma.
Aye. Do you think we should ask Torma about that shape, offer to help?
I think if we were going to, we should have done it before she took off.
But she transformed, she hadn't.
And as you're speaking, she launches off the ground. She is humongous. You would say that maybe she's, in terms of the game, gargantuan in size?
Amazing how she can be elegant at that size.
It's impressive. And I'm so glad that we didn't make her mad.
I told you it'd be fine.
I'd hate to be the one that took her egg. Oh.
Aye. When she catches up with them, I don't imagine there'll be anything left to help her with.
To be honest though, they're kind of getting what they deserve. You don't take a baby away from its mother. Not unless the mother's abusing it or something like that.
I meant helping her. I was going to offer to look into it, but because there won't be anything left to question if she gets to them first, is what I was thinking. Curious nature.
It's true.
Not much time passes. The beach bugs return to their compound, and you see a small rowboat being ferried from your ship with several members of your crew aboard.
Oh, thank goodness. Now, how are we going to get the tub? Can you still levitate today? You can do that, right? We can levitate the tub, and then we can get everyone back.
Well, if we're going back to the ship tonight, we could use Urzok's boat as well.
Good point.
That's true.
Jeffrey
Yes,
goes
well-
to find Shimrist and to start talking about provisions.
They are happy to provide you with whatever you guys need. They are very pleased with the fact that you were able to help them so much over the last couple of days. They're sad to see you go. They wish you could stay. It's so rare that they have visitors. Suds is blubbering over a bowl of ale that you are leaving. He is very sad.
He lost his heat sources to sleep with.
Mm-hmm. And it appears that the rest of the Furbolgs, while they were gone for the day, have been preparing a kind of a goodbye feast for everybody.
Oh, excellent. We'll miss you lot. It's been fun.
You'll have to come visit us.
Definitely. And thank you again so much for helping pull us out of the ocean. I don't know that I could have swum much farther.
Still sad about losing the chest, though.
You are welcome here anytime.
Maybe that kraken ate it. Maybe we find that kraken, we find our chest.
Listen, games lad.
I have a feeling you might run into the thing that took your chest at some point.
Oh, good. See that?
Notice
How
how I don't say
reassuring.
kraken, though.
Ooh.
Even more exciting.
Oh
So-
no.
Zork, will you be joining us aboard the lady, or are you content to remain on this island?
You're more than welcome.
Ship with you lot. Basically paradise. Tough sell.
We might find different paradises, though, and then you could choose from all of them.
That's a valid point.
You have adventure here with us. Or, to sit around with some bumblebees,
They are cute bumblebees, to be fair.
to be fair.
The beach bugs and I have already exchanged some plant matter. Some things for me to experiment with in the garden back home.
Gonna find out what other colours smell like and sound like.
If you've never tasted green, I just don't know how to describe it. It doesn't taste like plants. No. I will accompany you for the time being, until my duties call me elsewhere.
Marvelous.
That's fair. Be glad to have you.
Agreed. Well, you'll never guess who I got to be the helmsman of the ship. Do you remember Salty Sybil?
Helmsman, you say?
That's right.
Aye. She's quite good at it.
Come up in the world a bit then.
And as you guys have a very merry feast of all sorts of different island delights, your crew arrive, and Vareed and Salty Sybil and Dal all come aboard. Or come ashore, I should say. Vareed is wearing a very interesting outfit, Gwyn. He has got some pants that are maybe a little on the snug side around the hips. You're pretty sure they didn't come from Fortune's closet, but they look very similar to something that Fortune would wear. He's got a very brightly colored sash tied around it, kind of accentuating his hips. And he's got his tunic is more open than usual. He's got his hair kind of slipped back, and he's carrying a flower of some sort, but it's made out of crystal, maybe? And he presents it to you with a flourish and with a bit of a rakish grin.
Hey! Oh, that's beautiful. How did you do that?
Magic.
Well, obviously. Come on. I've got to see. I have a baby kraken. You've got to see the baby kraken. And she's just going to, like, a mile a minute talking, drag him off to see the baby kraken.
He just
Does not
lets you
notice
do
the
it. He's
outward.
got a big dumb grin on his face the second you start talking to him and dragging him off.
And there's a Wobler Tiger and maybe a Dragon Turtle. We're still kind of discussing that. But
Coral just leans over to Crackers. She is absolutely clueless.
Yes, but I look forward to the day when she gets it.
So do I.
Is there anything that anybody does in particular, aside from showing off all of your baby animals, Gwyn?
all the baby animals.
Something I would like to do later that evening, as everyone is retired.
Okay.
Are we going to spend a final night on the island or return to the ship?
That is a good question. What would you guys prefer to do?
Jaffer is well into her
Gesundheit.
cups, so she would much prefer to stay here for the night. Plus, Fortune's still out.
We can't budge
That's
him.
true.
It's tempting to pull a prank on him, but I'm not sure how it'd be received when he gets up.
He would punch you immediately, and it would hurt. I would assume.
Not that much. I mean, to be fair, I've seen him do a lot of damage. I just think I could take it. But we'll not this time.
Well, I shall, after everyone seems to be settled in, I shall find my way over to where Urzok is bedding down for the evening,
All right.
and I shall alight nearby and say to him, "Well, my good sir, I would very much enjoy if you told me everything you know about the Crimson Brotherhood."
Well, Bird. The Scarlet Brotherhood is, and he'll launch into a general explanation of what he understands about this. Say either I can dig up my notes, Tess, or if you want to fill in with any.
I can fill in if you like.
Let the narrator take over.
What Urzok is able to tell you about the Scarlet Brotherhood is that the Scarlet Brotherhood seeks one goal, and that is to not be beholden to anyone. Loyalists, traditionalists, they do not care. Their only purpose is to be self-sufficient. Or at least that was their goal. They have since tasted a bit of power and freedom. And Urzok, do you tell Crackers who your contact was?
Yes.
And under the guide of Scarin Wave Chaser, the gentleman who has been Anders' assistant, he has been orchestrating all sorts of madness in Saltmarsh, trying to frame folks for different happenings, trying to make it seem like the pirate princes are back, or maybe they are back, not entirely sure, but Scarin's goal has been to assume power. Most recently, Urzok had stumbled across a plan to have a member of the council assassinated and Scarin instated in his stead, and that's when he left to find you all. Realizing things had gotten so bad, but with all of the taxes that the Monarch have been putting on Saltmarsh, it is a powder keg ready to explode, and something like an assassination could tumble the entire balance of everything to the ground.
I see. Well, that is an interesting bit of intrigue.
You're better suited to deal with these sort of things than I am, Bird.
Quite. Do you happen to know if this Scarlet Brotherhood has any strongholds, any base of operations?
I don't think I know any of their.
You do not.
The stuff that have been operating out of Saltmarsh, but even not directly.
Yeah, you've not been privy to any of their actual stronghold locations. Just your involvement has been mainly clandestine, a few clandestine meetings in a few pubs and things where Scarin has offered you your substance of choice when you have gotten desperate to keep you involved.
Community outreach.
Yes.
Very well. I suppose I shall have words with Scarron when we return to Saltmarsh.
I soon expect that the Brotherhood will have a very large, very angry dragon at their doorstep. Make sure you don't get caught in the crossfire, Bird.
One does what one must. But I appreciate your concern.
You'd be considerably less colorful if you were on fire.
But all the more brilliant.
For a time.
Aren't we all? But for a time. I shall let you get some rest.
And I think that is a good place to call it for the evening. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight for Ghosts of Saltmarsh at Dead Men Tell No Tales. I hope you guys have enjoyed our little foray with the Beach Bolgs as we've enjoyed Nerdsgiving the last couple of weeks. We have had a very fun time promoting Heifer International and raising money for a good cause. Thank you to my players for dealing with my fit of madness as I just put you in a paradise of baby animals for 3 weeks, and you have been very patient with me as really nothing has happened all that much except for the gathering of more baby animals.
Baby animals happen.
They're
That's all.
adorable.
So we will be back next week at the same time, 7:30 on. Oh, thank you for the bits.
Thank ye
Thank
for
you.
the doubloons.
Thank
Greatly
you.
appreciated. And thank you to Loki for coming and playing with us this week. It's been very fun having you.
Thank you for the opportunity.
It has been a blast. And so I want to just really quickly go around one time, and we'll start with Cracker since he didn't get a chance to tell the audience earlier. Where can folks find you, and where can folks find your friend Matthew, who helps you out?
Well, I, of course, can be found here on these streams. My assistant, Matthew, he can be found on Twitter at Matthew A. Siebert, and you can also find him as the Dungeon Master of the Land Above podcast, which released its 14th episode today, if you wish to check that out.
Excellent. And Autumn, where can folks find you?
Autumn, play Gwilyn Hayes. You can find me here on Friday nights as Gwilyn, and you can find my art and writing on Twitter under Lasalanta Nariel. No, Lasalanta Blaze, Lasalanta Nariel here in chat and on Discord.
Speaking of, it is NaNoWriMo. Are you doing any writing, Gwilyn?
A little bit on my world, Krilohi. I am trying to get my Fate Pantheon this month.
Excellent. For those of you who do not know, Autumn is also an author and does have a book out that you can purchase, which she never ever mentions when I tell her to tell the people where she can be found. So if one of my amazing behind the scenes production people would like to find that really quickly, put that in chat for me because I can't right this second. You should read her book. It's very good.
Thank you.
And Heather.
Hi, I'm Heather. I am here every Friday on Dead Men Tell No Tales Ghosts of Saltmarsh. You can also find me every Tuesday here at the same channel on Shenanigans at 7 o'clock. I play Val, the half-orc cleric. And I'm also on Geek Thyself, which is a podcast that releases every Wednesday at the Nerdsmith Network. And it's a different nerdy topic every week with me and my co-host, Russell. You can find me on Twitter at amethyst_magic with a CK.
Excellent. And Zach?
Hi, I'm Zach, and I play Jaffer, the gnome artificer. You can find me here every Friday, as everyone says. Also on Twitter at DuskFeyDruid. You can also find me on the public Discord, where I run one-shots.
Yes. And last but not least, Loki.
I remain your humble servant, Loki Sooner. You can find me on Twitter at Loki Sooner, usually retweeting things about college football or beer or occasionally Dungeons and Dragons. I am here basically whenever Tess lets me out of my cage.
Which I will need to do more frequently because we miss having you and we do enjoy when you come and play with us.
I am unfortunately a poor substitute for Jay, who I'm sorry couldn't be here.
I meant in addition, not substitution.
Yeah.
And I am Tessa. You can find me on Twitter at Selkie Dreams. You can find me here on Friday nights or Tuesday nights. You can find me on Shenanigans at playing Bonnie, the half-elf bard rogue. She does have a level in there of that as well now. And you can also find me on, oh my gosh, just love my brain, in Vanville Purgasnocht every other Wednesday as Dallas the Gangrel. So if you enjoy a bit of Vampire the Masquerade, you can find me there on wherever you find your podcasts. And thank you very much to our production team for keeping things running behind the scenes, even though they are very sick right now. They're awesome. So as I like to say to close out our show every week, carry on, you funky little tieflings. Good night, everybody.